Hey everybody, it's Chris Stafford with the Max Show. We have another show that is highlighting the most vibrant, the most personality rich, if you will, coolest cat that I know, Michelle Schubnel. Michelle is just amazing in terms of what she can bring to bear in teaching coaches how to coach. You know, we have such a huge environment right now where so many people are out there coaching other people. You don't even need credentials for this. And yet, based on her research, Michelle has established what are the key aspects, not only of being a coach yourself in whichever area that you want to coach, but also addressing the business side of things too. And it's just an amazing interview, how she talks about how she does her joint venture partnerships, how she's doing six-figure product launches. I mean, she's an amazing force to be reckoned with. And if you're thinking about being a coach or you just want to pick up some badass entrepreneurial tips, definitely check out this show. Again, my name is Chris Stafford, and before I get started, make sure you check out maxbychris.com. Make sure you get all kinds of free goodies. So let's get on with the show. Welcome everybody, this is Chris Stafford with the Max Show, and I am super uber excited to have with us the not only Michelle Schubnel. Michelle Schubnel, I met at a conference just recently here in the San Francisco Bay Area. She has the most amazing vibrancy, energy. She's funnier than hell and has a lot of information about being a coach. Good morning. How you doing, Michelle?
Good morning, Chris. Thank you so much. I'm doing great today.
Oh, terrific, terrific. Hey, listen, I really want to get into your business because you have a fascinating business to me as a coach myself, and I know that you are just like the expert on training coaches. But before we get into that, I wanted to find out a little bit about your background. We have a lot of viewers here who are brand new entrepreneurs or just started their own business and sort of want to take us on your journey of how you became an entrepreneur.
Sure. Thanks, Chris. I'd be happy to. So I used to be in high tech, so I worked for a number of different software startup companies. And the last one I was there for 7 years. I loved it. I was selling multi-million-dollar container logistics software systems to container terminals around the world. And it was a great job. What was that?
That sounds complicated.
It was. It was a great job, but it was complicated. It was challenging. It was hard. And I also realized I'd been with that company for a while, and so I sort of grew within the ranks, and that to really take my career to that next level, I would either need to switch to a different organization, or maybe it was time for me to make a career shift. And it was right around that time that I started learning about coaching. I heard about the coaching field, and I thought, wow, this seems so up my alley. So I decided to get trained to become a coach, and I took classes by phone for 2 years, and I would coach my clients on the weekends. And that was for 2 years. Well, I still had that software sales job. I got my training to be a coach, got practice by working with clients on the weekend, and then made that leap from employee to full-time coach.
Were you like a life coach? Would you say that?
I actually focused on, I got trained to do all kinds of coaching. Most coaches get trained across the breadth of coaching, but once I started specializing, I actually started specializing as a small business coach. I really love business, and so even though as a business coach, we bring in life coaching skills and some relationship coaching skills, but my focus has always been on the small business coaching. So I went out on my own. I started my coaching practice. And it was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I was selling multi-million-dollar software systems. I thought, finding a couple of people to hire me for a couple $100 a month, how hard is that going to be? And I was shocked that selling myself and selling my own services was much harder than I anticipated. And even though my sales and marketing skills were transferable, there's just something different when you feel like you're selling yourself. And I'd been on my own for a couple of months. I had a handful of clients, but my business was definitely not looking the way that I wanted it to. And so it was right around Christmas time, and I remember thinking, something's going to have to change because I might have to otherwise dust off my resume and start thinking about getting a job, which, of course, I did not want to do because I had told everyone and myself that I love coaching, and I was excited to be a business owner and an entrepreneur, and I didn't want to have to go back and get a job with my tail between my legs. And it was right after the holidays. I remember thinking, okay, well, I've got to do something different. What I'm doing now is not really working well. And an email came into my inbox about a business building program specifically for coaches. And I read the program description, and I thought, wow, this sounds like exactly what I need. But I looked at the price tag and I thought, man, that's a lot bigger investment than I really want to make right now. But I realized I needed help, so I made the investment. I took the business building program, and it really changed my business. I learned through that program that I had been going about the client enrollment process wrong. So if you're not doing client enrollment well or properly, you're making it really hard to get clients. And I also realized that I did want to narrow my focus. I've been a little broad still. I've been doing some career coaching and life coaching, and through that program I realized I love doing the small business coaching, and my marketing would be a lot more effective if I chose a specific area to specialize in and a specific group of people to market to. So that really turned things around for me. Within about 6 months, I had a full coaching practice. I was thrilled. Things were rocking and rolling. And I went to an industry event, a coaching conference hosted by the International Coach Federation. And I met the founder of that program at the conference. We ended up going out to dinner, and I was like, Michael, you've got this great program. Really helped me. I could tell it helped a lot of the other coaches in our class, but you have no written materials. You have no website. It's just you on the phone, leading this sort of teleseminar week by week by week. And I was in like the second or the third group of coaches that he had taken through this program. And well, anyway, long story short, he said, well, why don't you come work with me and, help me do all this stuff. Help me get a website up. Help me document the system. You can, let's see what you're using and let's incorporate that into the program. So I started working with him as an independent contractor. And after about 1 month, I said, we're either going to become equal business partners or I'm out of here, because I was really putting, I'm one of those kinds of people, Chris, and I think you're like this too. Like once you start doing something, you really just throw your whole blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I wasn't happy doing that if I was just going to be earning a little commission here. So we had some discussions, and he saw the light, and we became equal business partners, and we worked together for several years. And then around 2005, he and I realized that we were sort of going in different directions. So I ended up buying out his half of the business. We had a very good business partnership and a very good business breakup, which is rare. I've had 2 business partnerships in my entrepreneurial career in the last 10 years. One with Michael went great, and one with someone else was a nightmare. So I've been on both sides of that equation. But that's really how I got started into coaching, but then also really becoming an expert, because it's been now more than a decade that I've been involved with Coach and Grow Rich versus the business partner as an equal partner, and then now as the sole owner and president. So I've really learned exactly what does it take to build a thriving, rewarding, and profitable coaching business, because that's what we do. We teach coaches how to attract great clients and build a successful coaching business.
That is awesome, and I have to mention that coachandgrowrich.com, Michelle has the most amazing site there, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the products in your business specifically, but I want to just go back to the partnership thing, because Michelle, I've had some experiences, I think you and I have talked about, I've had some experience with being with partners, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs, I get the question all the time, is it a good idea to go into partnership with someone else if you have a choice? What's your take on that?
My take is no. I don't actually think you should form a formal business. Michael and I did have an LLC together. As I said, we were lucky. It worked out really well when we were in business. We had a good buy-sell agreement. We were, very civil. We're now great friends. He was at my wedding. We talk on the phone. But I think that's more the exception than the rule. But what I do recommend is working with somebody else on a specific project. So maybe there's something that you want to do with somebody else, and so you can do it as a one-off project. You can do a program together, or you can, do an event together, figure out the details, but you each have your own business entities. I think that's a much better way to go, because I've heard statistically that up to 80% of business partnerships fail. Like, it's worse than the rate for just business owners. It's higher than the divorce rate. So I actually don't recommend it. And like I said, I've been in both cases where I had one that worked really well and one that literally set my business back a year and a half.
Wow. Yeah, no, I have to agree there. I've had some pretty crazy experiences with business partnerships myself. So, but you started off coaching entrepreneurs, small business coaching, and you did that for a number of years. How did you make the transition, or why did you make the transition into coach the coach type of business?
Well, it was really getting to meet Michael at an event and saying, look, you've got this. It happened pretty organically. So for when I first started working with Michael, and I've always continued, even though my business is Coach and Grow Rich and I specialize in helping coaches grow their business, I tend to coach a variety of different kinds of business owners. So, of course, I do coach coaches, but I also coach authors and experts and speakers and different software business owners. I've worked with a couple of different service professionals over the years. So I've always kept my kind of small business coaching going, even though I'm specialized in working with coaches. I think how that really came to be was seeing the needs, so really being passionate about working with coaches, knowing the value of coaching, and also seeing what happened for me. I had a sales and marketing background, and I like business, and I struggle to sell and market my coaching. And I knew that there are so many coaches out there that love coaching, that have an amazing gift, because being a coach and having the ability to really transform people's lives through coaching is just one of the most rewarding professions. And for the person being coached, it's one of the most powerful ways to, I believe, enable people to change, to really create massive change, massive results, massive abundance, in their businesses, in their lives. And so I firmly and wholeheartedly believe in the power of coaching. And I realized that, wow, if someone who loves sales and marketing, had a hard time, look at all these people that don't have any background. So I was really committed to working with Michael and saying, hey, this system needs to be written down. We need to have a website. It needs to reach a lot more coaches. And that's really the big motivation behind it, was saying, hey, how can we really take, instead of just you on a phone, with maybe 8 or 10 people in a class, how can we take it and literally help thousands of coaches around the world, which is what we ended up doing.
That's amazing. I mean, I love that, because essentially that's exactly what you're doing, is sort of you're leveraging your message to get it out there to more people. So instead of coaching one person, you're coaching hundreds. And, it's a testament to you, which I'm so impressed with. When you go to coachandgrowrich.com, you see all the beautiful products that you have. You even have this really cool test that entrepreneurs can go on there and take a test to see how they would fare as a coach, if I'm not mistaken. And so you actually developed a whole bunch of products. And I want you to talk to me just a little bit about some of those products that you offer to people. And is your business then transformed from more of a one-on-one or a group coaching to just like offering products online? Or what works best for you?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in having the multiple revenue streams and the multiple ways of working and serving with clients. So within the business, I do one-on-one coaching. That's kind of the high end. I typically work with clients. We start off as a 6-month arrangement.
Can I ask you how much you charge for your one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, the 6-month package is currently $10,000.
Great. Okay.
So I do one-on-one coaching, for private one-on-one clients. And I only work with, at that level, 4 to 5 clients at a time. Because it's a complete package that I work with them around. And so that enables me to really give them the level of service and support that I want. And it also fits with the life and lifestyle that I want. So I do one-on-one coaching. I have some associate coaches that also provide one-on-one coaching. And so that's great, because I know that a lot of people are attracted to the Coach and Grow Rich system. They want to get business coaching around building their coaching business. But typically for the newer coach, the investment of working with me is usually not the smartest investment. Typically my one-on-one clients these days are people that have been in business a number of years and are looking to take their business to the next level by doing information products, having group coaching, perhaps doing a product launch, maybe doing live events, a combination of all of those. So at that level, I typically am not working with the brand new coach. But we wanted to be able to offer one-on-one coaching. So I have some of my associate coaches that are, how do I want to say this? The memory of what it's like to be a new coach is more current for them. For me, it was over a decade ago that I was a brand new coach. Did you lose me there for a second?
No, I see it perfectly.
Oh, my computer screen decided to sleep, and I thought that might have shut me off as well. So I had to Shake the mouse. So we do one-on-one coaching with me and my associate coaches. We also have a variety of programs. So the Coach and Grow Rich system was originally created in the year 2000. So, we're in 2012 right now. So it was over about 12 years ago. It was a research-based system. And so over the years, we've continued to refine it. And so the system is really taught through our online training center called Coach and Grow Rich University. And what's great about that is that it really enables coaches to get the training, the information. It's a very comprehensive system. And there are workbooks, audios, sample materials, templates, checklists. I'm all about making it as easy as possible for coaches who want to learn the business side of things, to not have to reinvent the wheel, really learn what they need to do as quickly and easily as possible. Right. So through Coach and Grow Rich University, we have it as a self-study program, and then periodically 1-2 times a year, I'll run a group program where we'll get, 20, 50, 100, really varies based on how it's marketed and what's going on in the business. But we'll take a group of people through the program where they have access to the self-study materials, and then we have weekly group calls so that they can get their question answered. I can share new information, things like that. The other big product or program that I'm really proud of is my group coaching success program. And so I created this program back in 2009, and it's really interesting because it's a funny story. The best way to know how to create a product or what product to create is you listen to your customers.
Absolutely.
And I remember it was kind of like late summer, early fall, 2009, and I kept getting these requests like, hey, Michelle, you run all these group programs. Because we've been teaching Coach and Grow Rich. I've been teaching it, and my associate coaches, for years as a group coaching program where they have access to the content, and we run a group program around it. And I kept getting these requests, Michelle, I want to start doing groups too. Do you have any training on how to run groups? Like, oh, Michelle, I was in your group program. It was great. You're really good at leading groups. I want to do that in my business. Do you have a program or training on that? So finally one day I realized, okay, this is going to be my next product. And interestingly, I made the decision and started marketing it over a 4-day weekend event. So this was back in 2009, and I was at a weekend, 4-day kind of marketing training, and it was a great training. And one of the things that the trainer did, which I thought was brilliant, was on the very first day he said, I'm issuing you all a challenge because this is about marketing and attracting clients. And it's one thing to, sit and take notes, but it's something else to actually put into action what you're learning. Right. So we're going to issue a challenge, and between now, Thursday at noon, and Sunday at 3 p.m., the person who generates the most new revenue in their business is going to win a prize. And, new revenue meaning like you could sell an existing product. You couldn't count like if someone was on a payment plan.
Right.
You couldn't count revenue that had already been booked. You have to do a sale or launch a new program or put an offering out. So I love a good contest, and I'm a little bit competitive. So that night I was literally up until about 3 in the morning. And, fortunately for me, I know how to do everything in my business. I'm a huge proponent of having assistants, virtual assistants, or in-person assistants.
Good point.
But it happened right around that time. I had been without an assistant for a while. Won't even get into the reasons why, but there were a couple of reasons, and I knew, I was going to gear up to bring someone on board, but I'd been in between assistants, so I, was totally dialed in on how to set up my sales pages, how to send out emails. I just was able to do everything. So from that hotel room, I literally recorded my first video, created a sales page, sent an email out to my list, and long story short, by Sunday at 3, I had over 20 people enrolled in my first group coaching success program and won the prize.
That is amazing. That is great.
Isn't that a funny story? And then from there, that program started off as a teleclass, so I led it as a live group coaching program. Don't tell anyone, but at the time, I didn't even have a written workbook.
Wow.
So, I love that expression, build the plane as you're flying it. I hear that people say that a lot.
Yes.
And it's really true. If I had really thought it out and had to have all my ducks in a row, I don't think that program would have been as successful. It would have had the momentum it got. And it just enabled me to get it done because I took that challenge at that event. So, a date was on the calendar. People signed up. I led the class. I kind of learned as I went along. I wrote the workbook afterwards, and then I took that program and I packaged it up into a home study product that I've now launched, done 3 big launches around it, and I've sold it to several hundred coaches who are now like coaching more people through the power of groups, which is so great because I'm on a mission to get more coaches to start coaching groups because there's a lot of people out there who would benefit from working with a coach, but the one-on-one rate might be out of their range. So group coaching is such a great thing, I believe, for coaches to add to their offering.
And I believe that you actually have a separate website just for that. Am I correct?
Right. So that website is called groupcoachingsuccess.com. And actually that website is set up so you get a whole bunch of free training videos. And then after you get all my great free training, I do let you know about the program. If you're interested, it's always available for sale. It's a self-study program, and about once or twice per year, kind of like my other program. I offer live group calls around it. But yeah, anyone that's interested in getting some free training on how to get started with coaching groups, head on over to groupcoachingsuccess.com, and you can just opt in and take advantage of some really powerful free training.
Yeah, and your stuff is amazing, and a testament to that, too, is I know that you're approaching 6-figure launches, and it's kudos to you, hats off to you. I'm really impressed with that.
Thank you.
Hey, Michelle, I want to change tacks a little bit in terms of you working with coaches and you working with entrepreneurs maybe more broadly. What is the one thing that you see that is really that stops people or inhibits people from really being successful as an entrepreneur or as a coach?
I think there's probably 2 things. One is lack of commitment. So, it's funny, just yesterday I sent an email out to my email list about the importance of commitment, and yesterday was my 5-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
So, my husband and I went away for the weekend, and we were talking about the importance of commitment in our marriage, and it really got me thinking about the importance of commitment in business. And if I think about the coaches and entrepreneurs who have really been successful, at some point they made the decision. They really put the stake in the ground. They said, this is what I'm doing no matter what. They kind of metaphorically burnt the boats, kind of like Cortez did when he and the Spanish conquistadors came to Mexico, and he made that order to burn the boats because that means there's no turning back. And I think that's a lot of people dabble. So they want to be a coach or they want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, but they don't really put that flag in the ground. They don't metaphorically burn those boats. They've got some other safety net. They're not giving it their 100%.
Do you think that is an innate ability that somebody can learn, that you could train them as a coach, or do you think that's something that somebody has to bring to the table as an entrepreneur?
I think you can, I share the importance of doing that, but I don't think as a coach I can make that decision for somebody. Right. It's really that internal decision of okay, I'm going to do this thing. So I can educate and share my experience and share what I see for other people, that it is that kind of commitment and declaration and decision that's so important. But I don't think that's something that's as coachable as, let's say, how to be more productive as an entrepreneur, or how to the different things you can do to be more effective at marketing or client enrollment.
And you mentioned,
but I do think that's something that people can grow into. The other thing with the commitment is sometimes people just aren't ready yet. So maybe that's something okay, at some point I am going to need to really put that stake in the ground. Right now, I'm not ready because I don't have enough information. I'm not clear about this and this and this. So they can grow into that to get to the place of being able to say 100%, yes, I'm doing this, and there's no turning back.
Now, you mentioned 2 things. The commitment was one of them. What was the second thing?
Belief.
Belief.
I think belief in themselves, what they have to offer, are they good enough? So it's interesting, they're both sort of internal things. Now, the belief piece, I think, is something that I do work on more with clients. Like the commitment, we can talk about it, but, you as the client, entrepreneur, needs to just make that decision. Belief, there's a lot of things you can do to build your belief, to consistently grow your belief. And one of the big pieces is it's about taking action and gaining confidence. We have this whole confidence loop. And so the more competent you are at something, the more confident you get. The more confident you are, the more you want to do it. And then you become more confident, and it spirals. And once that loop is going, go, and like a nice little merry-go-round, your belief starts really going through the roof.
Exactly.
So you can do a lot more around building belief and I believe helping clients take action and build their confidence and confidence. Exactly. So that they can have that belief that you need to be successful in business.
Right. I like that just because I've interviewed so many entrepreneurs, and I tell you, the belief and the commitment, I think, are probably the top three things that every entrepreneur across the board, mentions.
Now I want to know what the third one is. I know I'm the answerer, not the answer.
It's getting the support that you need. But let me turn it back to you, Michelle, because one of the things that I think, you're so motivated and you are so focused, and I think that, it's very impressive. What are things that you don't like to do? What are the things that Michelle's like, oh my God, if I could give that to a VA, or what would those things be?
Well, I do outsource a lot of things. So I've got a web development, go-to company that helps me with my website stuff. I've got a virtual assistant that, does formattings of my emails and updates my websites and things like that. I think the thing that I really don't like to do and is a growth area for me is around the financials. I have a bookkeeper that comes in, every month or so, and, we balance the books and see where it is. But I'm not so good at the budgeting, the forecasting. There's kind of that, I would say, higher level of financial analysis and business stuff that I'm not great at yet, but it's an area I'm very excited, well, not very excited. I'm committed to learning and getting better at, because I know that's a skill that I need to have to keep growing my business.
Right. Now, if I'm reading between the lines correctly, and I love your comment about, build it before, to listen to your clients and find out what the need is and just go off and build something. It's sort of like, ready, shoot, aim kind of concept. But another thing, too, is what types of marketing, how do you get people into your fold? I think there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are trying to figure out, how do I get more likes on Facebook? How do I get more interest in what I'm doing? And, you and I have talked about this before, that obviously content is really important, to deliver and bring great content to people so that they will continue to follow you. But specifically from a marketing standpoint, what are you doing to generate that buzz?
Yeah. Well, and I'll just start off with what you said. I mean, content is king, and it's really key. So and in today's world, Facebook is great, LinkedIn is great, but ultimately you do need a client capturing website or a, prospect capturing, lead capturing website.
Right.
Like you said, thanks for the compliment on my website at coachandgrowrich.com. I'm modeling something that one of my mentors, Brennan Burchard, taught about how to create what he calls the homepage ATM.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's really about, on your website, having a really valuable free gift that your ideal clients would want to exchange their name and email to get your free gift. So I think that having that in place is key, because, it's amazing to me how many coaches and other entrepreneurs that are looking to consistently attract new clients don't have a good lead capturing system on their website.
Wow.
So they're focused just on Facebook, which is great. I mean, social media is not going away, but at the same time, you don't own your Facebook page.
Right.
Something could happen and Facebook could shut you down. So as much as you use social media in today's world still, you always want to be driving people back to your main website. Your main website can be as simple as an opt-in page. So, like, for example, if you go over to groupcoachingsuccess.com, that is my website for that brand is one opt-in page, 3 value videos, so 3 different videos where I teach great content, and you'll see underneath the videos I actually have the Facebook like button and comments, which is great because that shows social proof. It's a great way to interact with people. Then the 4th video is a sales video where I tell you about my group coaching success program. And so that you can get a website up and deliver huge value. It doesn't have to be as comprehensive as, let's say, my coachandgrowrich.com website. That one is really, the main hub for my business. But I've been in business for over a decade, so it doesn't need to be that comprehensive. So that's the first thing, to make sure you have that right infrastructure in place. Consistently putting out good content. In today's world, especially I love what we're doing here today, Chris, which is the use of video. rumor has it, and I believe this is true, and my screen just went to sleep again, search is going video-based. So within 2 years, 80% of all online searches, when you type in a search to Google, the first things they're going to pull up is video.
That's amazing.
So by making the commitment as an entrepreneur, coach, or other business owner that you are going to learn video, do video, and put good content out there on video, great way to be attracting new leads. I'm a big fan of speaking. So you can be doing public speaking in person. There's also such a great opportunity to do teleseminars or webinars, video casts, so that you're speaking and getting your message out there, and you don't necessarily even have to leave your house.
Right.
And then my absolute, hands-down, favorite way to attract new clients is through joint venture partners. And, a great way to do that is to launch a product. So by, the whole idea of I was telling the story about how I created that group coaching success program. Well, that first class, I just marketed to my list. I had an email list of probably 4,000 or 5,000 back then. Marketed to my list, ended up having 35 or 40 people. It was great. Then I turned it into a product, and I was like, okay, I'm seeing how this whole product launch thing works. I want to get in on it. And so I did my first big joint venture product launch. And not only in that very first launch did I end up, enrolling over 100 people in my program, generating over $63,000, but I grew my email list by almost 2,500 people in a 1 month, 3-week period through the whole launch process. By connecting with other people who serve the same target market as you and finding a way to play together. It doesn't necessarily have to be a joint venture product launch, but really for a new business owner, it's a great way to go because you're going to get your name out there, you're going to grow your list, you'll get a lot of exposure. Yeah, it's work, but it's a way to take your business and start having to do this instead of
Right, exactly.
Slowly. Like, you'll get some serious acceleration.
That's amazing.
A great way to go.
Yeah, and just for our viewers out there, in case you aren't all that familiar with joint venture marketing, it's basically having other people, similar entrepreneurs, market your product for you, market it to their list, and then you're paying them a certain fee. Sometimes it's 50% of whatever your fee is. But like you said, it's a great way to leverage.
And I just want to jump in. Actually, the one clarification I'd like to add, Christopher, is technically they are marketing my product, but really they're not doing a lot of the selling. So really with joint venture partners, I also teach it in strategic alliances. What we're looking to do is get exposure to somebody else's list and do that by adding value.
Got it.
So like with my group coaching success launch, my partners don't have to say, oh, go buy Michelle's product. What they send their list, which I write for them and make it really easy so that my partners can promote my offering, is they're promoting my free video training. Some partners do get, this isn't a whole interview about launches and JVs, because I love that topic. I'm so big on it. So we could go on and on, but I just wanted to clarify, because sometimes people think, oh, well, I don't want to have to ask someone else to sell my stuff. And it's not, they sometimes do that. You will see that sometimes, but it's not a requirement. What you're really asking your joint venture partner or strategic alliance partner to do is say, hey, I've got these free videos. Let's offer them to your people. And then, after they watch the videos, we'll see if any of them want to join the program, and I'll pay you a commission for everyone who joins the program. And of course, all that is managed through like a shopping cart system, so it can all be tracked. But it doesn't mean, you can even, I work with so many, new coaches, new entrepreneurs that, this is a little bit more of you're probably not going to do a big joint venture product launch with a shopping cart and an affiliate tracking system in your first, 3 to 6 months in business. But you can form a strategic alliance and find someone who has an email list or a following of people who are your target market. And you can just work one-on-one with that person and say, hey, I think what I have to offer would really benefit your people. How about we do something like this? I'll do a webinar, just, you can, kind of like what you and I are doing. Let's do an interview. I'll give you some questions. We'll record it, and we'll send it out to your people. They're going to get huge value. And if any of them could take advantage of my service, we'll let them know about it. I'll track it, and we'll figure out a way for the compensation. So there's lots of ways you can go about doing it.
Great idea. Great tips about marketing. And the one thing that I think is really worth repeating too is the whole thing about providing value. And being able to give people for free, especially initially, give them the value so that they keep coming back. And they're sending their friends to it as well, too. But
exactly.
Let me ask you the flip side of that. And from a marketing standpoint with your business, Michelle, what do you think is maybe like your biggest mistake, the biggest thing that you probably shouldn't have done?
Well, probably that second business partnership. I mentioned I've had two. One was really great, and one was not great at all. So in hindsight, that was a mistake for sure.
Okay.
Another mistake is there was a period in my life where my business was kind of humming along. I don't want to say I got complacent, but I was kind of focused on some other things in my life, and my business was maintaining itself, and I had some associate coaches and assistants, VA, and I did, for a couple of months, I just stopped emailing my list. And the other thing that I would say is, so critical as a coach, as an entrepreneur, really any kind of business owner, is your email list or your customer database or your prospect database. And in today's world, it's often you think of it as your email list of prospects or potential clients. And yeah, there was a period there that I had a list for, we had a list. I'd been sending out a regular newsletter for months and months and months, but just sort of took my eye off the ball.
Right.
And
did you get a little lazy?
I'm sure someone asked me, Michelle, is that a good decision? And, is it important to keep, connected to the people on your email list? I would have answered yes, but it just wasn't a huge priority for me then. And once I started emailing again, it was great. There were definitely people that were happy to hear from me, but I had lost connection, and my email list would have been here, and then it went down here. And then since then, I've really gotten committed and serious and focused on really providing great value to the people who are on my list. I like to think of it as like, if you get on my email list, it's like winning the lottery. Like, it's going to be a huge gift. But I honestly believe that, Chris, because there's not a lot of people out there that know as much about the coaching field from a business building standpoint, and who also just has had such, over a decade of experience working with life coaches, business coaches, executive coaches, corporate coaches, niche coaches. And I've just done so much training and development myself. Like, I actually just ran the numbers recently, and in the past 20 months, I've spent more than 60 dedicated business days and over $30,000, not counting travel expenses, on my own business development and education.
Got it.
So, by getting on my email list, I really think it's a way, I think of it as a way for people to tap into all of my knowledge, all my expertise, all my perspectives. And I do share great resources that people love. So it's something I've really gotten committed to after realizing that was a mistake when I stopped doing it way back when.
That's great. That is great. Yeah, so that's really key, is to stay in touch with your list. I think you also mentioned something else, too, that's worth repeating, and that is a good entrepreneur is always learning. You're always putting yourself out there. You're always getting information, giving great information, and that's amazing. 60. That's crazy. Tell me this, though, Michelle. What is the next big thing for Michelle Schubnel? What's the next big thing you're going to do?
My next big thing is that I'm going to be creating, in the works right now, I'm going to be launching it in a couple of months. It's a new product and program specifically for coaches who are in a full-time job and want to leave the employee world and become a full-time coach.
Wow.
And so it's based on the Coach and Grow Rich business building system that we've been teaching coaches for years, but it's going to be taught in a way that is going to be more accessible to people that are working full-time.
Perfect.
Because oftentimes I see what happens is that the person who's working full-time, and I know, I've been there. I did it for 2 years where, I got trained. I took my class. I went to a coach training program that it was all virtual learning. So, I took my training by phone at night, and I'd be on the computer. And then on Sundays, like I said, I coached my, practice kind of starter clients. And at some point, you got to make that leap. And there's a lot of things that, the more you can go into making that leap as prepared as possible, the more effective you're going to be, the more successful you're going to be. You'll be able to ramp up your business more quickly. And so I'm really excited about creating a program, this year-long program, specifically for the employee who wants to become a full-time coach.
Right.
And perhaps do it, over the course of the year, but at least over that year, learn and get all their ducks in a row and things in place so that when the timing's right, when there's enough savings in the bank account, they're ready and then can hit the ground running with their coaching business.
Well, Michelle, that sounds like an outstanding idea, because all of us, most of the entrepreneurs I know today, we're in that situation. We all had full-time jobs and decided that we wanted to be an entrepreneur. So to the extent that you can sort of make that transition a lot easier for them, oh my God, you're going to do very well with that. That is terrific.
Thank you. Well, I'm excited. I'm really excited to be able to support that particular group of people better, because I know that it's really challenging. And the program that I have running right now, we're meeting every week. I think it's ideal for people that are, coaching full-time, or they're in their business now full-time, or maybe even part-time. We have a couple of people that have full-time jobs, but I can see it's a little more challenging for them because they just don't have as much time because they're working 40, 50 hours a week.
Right, exactly. That is amazing. Great. Michelle, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time today. It's amazing that we were able to get together and make this thing happen. And
my pleasure, Chris. Thank you. This is so fun. You got me talking about things I love, so I was really happy to be able to do this with you.
Well, your passion certainly comes through. It's very obvious to everybody, so thanks again. And again, if you guys are interested in being a coach, if you want to learn from the best, you definitely have to look up Michelle Schubnel, and she can be found at coachandgrowrich.com, and also your other site is groupcoachingsuccess.com. So definitely check Michelle out and get started with her immediately. Michelle, thanks a million. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks so much, Christopher. Great talking with you. Here's to lots of success for everyone listening and watching. Take care.
Absolutely. Take care. Thanks so much.